This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. Brother Timothy X. Brother Minister, what's happening, brother? I ain't seen you in a long time.
Brother, we all have a ministry, brother. We always stay on the watch as always. God is good.
Okay.
Stay logged in, tuned, as you have been doing. As you know, this is not our first time talking to the brother.
Yeah, you always welcome, Brother Minister, at New Black World Order TV.
It's always a blessing.
The Nation of Islam has a home here, brother.
And we're right here in the city. And I like talking in the heart of the city. I feel like it's the heartbeat for the VA, you know, once up.
So, what's going on? This is an interesting year, man. We got a new president, Donald Trump.
Well, I have not spoken much about, you know, everything that has transcended into this point, because I think that we all have had to exercise patience, whether we liked it or not. We've seen the VCU students, you know, in an uproar, and the Richmond City Police, they responded as best they could, you know, but, you know, there was no real injuries, but I think the leader is in a, you know, they recognize him as a potential troublemaker, and I think I heard them chanting, Black Life Matters, and some of these VCU students was lily white here in the city of Richmond and Commonwealth, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's white people mostly out there shouting the Black Lives Matter.
I talk about my city because basically this is where I live, and this is where I can talk about. You know, we hear stuff going on all around the world, but I tell you, it's homeland security until you can hold that together. And like Elijah Muhammad said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you can have some of this earth you call your own, you know, home is what you need to be worried about. Homeland security, we need that. Maintain that.
Homeland security for America or for ourselves?
We ain't running overseas fighting everybody else's battle, because we could be robbed right here. The government could be just refusing to help us.
We got robbed right here.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of criminality.
By the fathers of the Homeland Security.
In the way of presidency. I'm not saying anything, but Donald Trump and Putin has been like that, you know. And
say what?
Like that, you know.
It's a collaboration.
Something is going on where he can't get away from this man and his association
and his wife.
His
wife got that Russian head job.
Right. Well, we know that she is a very attractive female, and she does not.
She don't look hot to me.
As the first lady at all, you know, with all the rumors and everything is, you know, N.O.I was one who put a lot of pressure on the former president, Bill Clinton, and N.O.I, you know, he was deep into his business. But here's Donald Trump, admittedly, a man who loves women, and you know, had no respect for Hillary Clinton for some reason.
But he loves women.
He did promise he would have her locked up, but somehow they consented, and she congratulated him, and they kissed and made up, and life went on, and America just had to get over it. And all the black people who rode with, you know, the idea that we will keep democracy alive, and President Obama, you know, he did a whole lot of things to make it known that he was not in support of this current administration, and so did the senators. But, you know, we're talking about politics right in the city of Richmond, and this guy, Stoney, I don't know who voted for him, and I have not heard much about him. I hope he's doing a good job. But I feel like he was chosen by Dwight Jones. It was a continuation of his administration, and he was some young man that nobody even knew he was on the ballot, and somehow he became the mayor. And I'm standing here at the Rock's Throw from the city of Richmond, where rats run rampant right here in this little circle where I'm talking at night.
Right there in the grass, right there.
Right in the grass. Everybody knows, you know, how corrupt and dirty rats in the city. Several, you know, if there be a speaker, I am not one who will criticize him if he speaks the truth. I was my witness. We have not had enough truth speakers, and these people that come before us, for season or reason, they come to titillate and to play with our senses, you know, but they only want to distract you from what you could really be fed more, that there would be more nutritious in the way of education. Our people are starving in a land with plenty.
They're starving from fake news, right?
You know, that's what Donald Trump has said. You know, everybody's fake to him. You know, I don't know what it's going to take to make him see the reality that, you know, when you play with fire, God bless you, you know what I'm saying? And maybe he is 75 years old to his end. You know, he says he's in good health, but his eyes look real sickly looking to me, and I don't want to talk about a commander-in-chief like that, you know, because I am from America, and we don't hate him, you know, though we have accused him of being one who could be affiliated with hate mongers.
With that, you should have more respect for LeVar Stoney than Donald Trump, right?
You know, Donald, yeah, I don't even know this guy. You know what I'm saying? I hate to, you know, I hate to say it.
You know, I had to throw that one out there.
I doubt if anybody really voted for him. It looked like the torch was just literally passed on.
I'm gonna wait to see what LeVar Stoney gonna do.
Well, I hope that he will not be.
I think he is.
A. Brown knows.
I ain't gonna say
and
that.
I can't say that because I don't know that. I'm hoping that he would not.
Oh, okay.
Because we have an attorney general. What's that black guy? I kind of respect him. I can't call his name right now. That's I respect him. I can see his face clearly.
Attorney General for the state of Virginia?
Yeah, we should know who he is. A black man.
Oh, we should know.
And how come we don't know?
I don't know.
His name is not Herring or something like that.
They ain't been pushing it.
Some Herring. But either way, God bless you.
Is he a salt Herring? I mean, I don't know.
But this man has been sitting as Attorney General in the city of Richmond. I think he knows a lot. He could very well become, you know, a next politician who could take up a position in Virginia. You know, maybe Stoney can hold it together long enough for some real person. Like we know, Joe Morrissey, he caught a lot of flack, you know, because of his choice of women at a young age. So all these politicians, including Joe Morrissey. You know.
So, what do you think about LeVar Stoney calling this a sanctuary city?
Well, he's right. Honest to God, you know.
It looked like the damn flu came through here right after he said the shit.
Well, let me just say this. Our people are sickened by the continuous ignorance. You know, when I say ignorance, to ignore. These very knowledgeable, and people have heard the voice of many, except for they're not attuned to.
You know, some of those people that hang around in these corner stores don't have papers. You know that, right?
The immigrants, they are nervous. And
but are they contributing to the drug problems in our community, these corner stores? Ain't no possibility in it here.
This guy, Trump, president,
they always getting in trouble for food stamp fraud.
If they have been known to be troublemakers, that he swears on his life that he would put them out of the country. So until somebody can identify those potential troublemakers and those drug lords and whoever, who don't really, I don't see them controlling the city unless. But ain't that the same? They have such a good supply.
Okay, I think this is the same similar subject. You remember they told us that Yaku told his maid devil go back among them?
Right.
Immigrate back among them.
Well, yeah.
And then cause trouble among them.
Well, that was always his intentions.
Well, ain't that the same thing with the sanctuary city thing?
Well,
with the immigrants? Are they causing trouble in our neighborhoods?
Let me just say this. I'm going to share with you that a white man did ask me, he was a reporter, did I notice any racism in Virginia? And I told him that in my lifetime, there was only one white man who called me a nigger when I was wearing the United States Army, the United States uniform.
While you were serving?
While I was serving the country, this guy...
You did serve.
He was drunk. And what made me have so much pity and mercy on him was the fact that he was drunk and out of his mind, and in comparisons to the life that I was living, he seemed jealous.
Oh, yeah.
And in a case like that, you don't need to, you know, stomp and beat somebody with that.
Right, he already messed
up. Just the thought alone that you have outserved him. And he was out there drunk, spewing hate. And I was able to withstand it because I didn't identify myself as none of those persons who I seen Kuta Kinte and Roots and different things. I was never the nigga to get on his knees and do anything that I saw in that terrible Holocaust, reenactment of the literal lives of those who suffered in America, and particularly Virginia. One of the worst slave camps, right down the street, Lumpkin's slave camp. I have looked down on it, but I didn't get a chance to take the trail. But anybody is
well, you know, March the 7th up at 1500 Lombardy, they having a March the 7th from 5 to 8. They having a meeting that they want people to come out and voice their opinion about Lumpkin's slave
know that,
trail.
but I don't speak on opinion. I tell them, and that's why I'm not amongst them in any kind of fashion, because I'm not interested in how they gloat over. Some of them take pride in how they have flexed the political muscle, because that's what they have done. They established politics with their stance. You look at Virginia's state seal, you see a man with his foot. His stance is his foot is in a man's chest.
Down with the tyrant.
He seems to be a Greek or something, but he has a dress on. And the guy said,
with his titty hanging out.
Pull out his skirt. He would say, we would pull the skirt off of the great whore. So I don't know where America stands in this. But for some reason, Virginia is very, very crucial when it comes to politics. You notice that everybody seems to be, concerned about what Virginia thinks. And when Obama did become president 8 years ago, they had CIA, FBI, all type of police. It's all over the Richmond Coliseum. So
yeah, remember I was down there.
Right. Yeah. But none of this for Trump. None of this for Trump. I think it was preordained.
In 2007, yeah, the line went all the way around the Coliseum.
He was the same man that wrestled with Vince McMahon. This billionaire, is willing to be an entertainer. And so far, he must have, you can telling me his approval rate is is rising. Because he has withstood people who stood in the streets on the day of his inauguration and pretty much protested. Burnt cars, did a whole lot of stuff. And here it is March.
And ain't nothing changed.
And he's traveling into great approval rating.
Who are?
Yeah. And I
Trump.
tell you, sometimes, people could have picture an old woman like Hillary Clinton, her face was beginning to decay as far as, and I love her, but she did not look like the best person to represent America.
It looked like she was having a nervous breakdown.
I don't know if her photographers or somebody, aged her in the way of, because they could have photoshopped her.
Yeah.
But, maybe she has aged before she could even, just the little service that she has done. Well, she's a lot.
Did you hear the Minister Louis Farrakhan say the address about Trump?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. What's the nation? What's really the position on Donald Trump and how we deal with his administration for the next 4 years? What suggestions do you have?
I mean, in Virginia, I can only speak as
yes, for Virginia.
The Homeland Security, we need to start storing stuff, because the government could very well shut down. And we have been advised by the same honorable man, Minister Farrakhan, is currently towards sitting in the seat of his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is now I've seen all kind of, people this reported the sightings of this mother's wheels, and it was
a spaceship.
Oh, a spaceship? No, they have seen it. An object, yeah. Well, I guess they would say a spaceship. But the mother wheel, Elijah Muhammad actually knew. He was not talking UFO unidentified. He told them who was the controller of it in this universal order of things. And he spoke as if they think that they could put their hands on him and destroy black people. It would be suicide.
I don't like to talk about that mothership.
Right.
Because I got a lot of questions
about that. If you went online, anybody listening to your show, we can go online and they will see many discoveries. Some of it is very interesting. If there's a light show going on, it is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because people is calling the police, it's panic, it's mayhem, with this UFO thing. So
I really don't want to get off subject. I really don't want to get off subject. I want to,
I think if a man had stood before the government and got interrogated, and he gave them somewhat of the dimensions. He didn't give it to them. He said he stormed one of the mosques, and because they'd seen much of the scientists who
when the FBI ran into the mosque and took all the
terrorized the politicians to the point where
this was in the 30s or the 40s. This was in the 30s,
yeah. The president knew it was, asked him to leave the country, so it was that serious. But Elijah was able to stay here and teach a lot of people and make them believe in a God who had control of the plane that was made in 1910 in a pond somewhere in Japan with $15 billion worth of gold. The people have money, but God controls the universe. And I say again, but those who look deeper into it, it's not for me to argue. As they investigate, they look into it, they won't find Brother Tim is one who has the energy to put into foolishness.
Okay.
I know what I know, and if they don't want to believe it, and the more they keep seeing this stuff, it only bears witness to itself. Truth kiss truth. That's the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said.
How could we benefit from this mothership? What would it do
like I say, if it came today, some of them would be begging for mercy. A lot of people wouldn't be ready. When I said that, I told if it came in a
I wish it came today. I got a question.
In a certain manner, but they have left it on America whether it wants to live or not, since it wants to be the superpower. And if it was the #1 on the hit list, according to Elijah Muhammad,
America and Europe
#1 on the hit list of those who would try to supersede the devils before them, who wanted to control people on the amount of money. And now they're telling me some of these dollar bills will now have the faces of black people, including Harriet Tubman and Maggie Walker, some people.
Especially if it'll hold their slaves, they'll do it.
Right. So, a lot of things have changed. Whether we have voted for change, some things really have changed.
But my picture on some money I own, control I own, is not really no liberation.
The possessor of the note, the promissory note is what it is.
You know how I can get, see, that's why I didn't really want to go anything about this mothership, but talking about control of money, right? I don't really want to face on money that I can't control. Now, I have an idea with this mothership about how we can control the money on the whole planet.
Well, if that is not your technology, God, if that is your object or your desire, you desire to do these things.
Well, they say the ship coming to liberate us, right?
It was burning in the streets. It was prophesied.
Yeah, that money, but I'm talking about...
It was just a piece of paper, promissory note, that anybody, that was in possession of it, you would have to render them something, of value.
Does this mothership visit our planet every year?
Yeah, at least once a year.
Once or twice?
Yeah, and it takes water from the seas, from the oceans.
To refuel itself. That's what they say. But do it drop off any technology for us?
Well, we don't know that. I myself cannot speak for that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not in a position. We don't know that.
Okay. Okay.
So anything I talk about, I will have to be a direct witness of it.
Okay. So to sum up our subject about politics in Virginia, Donald Trump in Virginia, what's your final statement, Brother Minister?
I feel like
Timothy X.
Until you do for self and unite, the unity was more than an atomic bomb. But you've been asked to join many things, and so many things can be confusing. And with all of the drugs that's being introduced in the way of loud and different chemicals, and now they're telling me people falling out from the elephant, was it some type of dope fiends now using tranquilizer? You know,
horse tranquilizer.
Horse tranquilizer.
And killed 60 people in the last 2 years, I think.
And the hands of the people who have treated these drugs for the life of those who are brothers and sisters. Mostly it's been the black people who have been targeted. Some of them been
or the heroin fucking white people.
They could have been dope fiends to the point where they could have been threatening to tell. You have seen.
Why you think Trump talked about giving money to
you see the movie Die Another Day, though. Excuse me.
No, I ain't see that movie.
But the movie Die Another Day, DMX was going around killing the baby mothers who was telling them that because they, you strung me out, I'm going to the police. And some of these people who have getting these hot shots, with this horse tranquilizer, I think are purposely targeted because they have maybe went too far in this, they're spiraling, this downward fall, and they might, it's possible that they took other people with them. A lot of people don't want to fall, and a lot of people associated with them, including the drug dealer, would suffer on their day of their greatest downfall.
Okay, all right.
So I do believe some of the deaths was personal.
Okay, all right. You have anything else you want to share with our...
That's it, bro. Keep your eyes on the prize and do for self.
Okay. This has been another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. Assalamu alaikum, FOI.
Before I leave them the same way in peace.
No doubt.